of Learn with 3D. This is the 5th episode of the series, a complete Figma guide for prototyping for advanced UI and UX designers. In this particular episode, I will cover colors and other effects that you can use in your prototype masterpieces. So, without much ado, let's get started. But before we deep dive, kindly like, share and comment on this video if you find this extremely important for your upcoming projects. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get all the notifications of our upcoming updates. Let's get started. So as soon as you open Figma, I've already covered in my previous video, in my previous episode, I've already explained the tools to you. Now is the time to check how you can use colors, gradients and other effects in your amazing prototypes. So let us first do the first. Click on the frame and as a main unit, let's drag a frame on screen. I'm not going into the detail of the size of the frame or anything. You can actually make it a bit larger also so that we can use the most of the screen size. Let us create some shapes. I have already showed you the different shapes that we can create in my previous video. So let us just press Shift and drag a square. Let us press Shift and draw a circle, same size, and let us also draw a triangle. So we will be having pretty much 3 different shapes. Perfect. By default, if you see that we have already started with the color. Why? Because it has come up with a default gray color, which is C4, C4, C4. That is the default color of Figma colors. So now, as you know, I can just click on any one of the shape and I can simply change the colors. It is that simple. Lovely. Now let us go to the next step where I will convert this particular color into a gradient. But don't you think that you don't have any gradient or vignette element in the property bar? Worry not. You just have to click this plus sign. As you click the plus sign, you will see that there is something called linear has come over here. What is this linear? Let's click on it. This is nothing but a linear gradient that has already been applied to the base color that you had chosen. So what is the linear gradient color? By default, it has given a white color at the top and the same white but in transparency mode that they have applied over here. So this is a transparent part of the color. So how do I change the transparency? I just have to drag this opacity slider over here. So you can see that the transparency already gets affected. So say for example, I want to just have a darker shade of red at the top. I will just have it like this. And maybe over here I want to have a more darker shade of red towards the black. See how easily I could create a gradient over my existing color. So I don't require the back color, so I can just turn off the eye. So your gradient is ready. You can also move this gradient this way at an angle so that your gradient angle can also change. Pretty simple, right? That's the power of using a gradient. You can also just click on, by the way, you have to close this box to start with another gradient for another shape. You can also change this particular thing. You can just first click on a particular gradient and just delete this particular shape at the bottom of your gradient. So over here you already have a linear transparent gradient by default. Now I want to create a circular gradient. What I should do, I should click on the linear tab over here and click radial over here. You cannot see anything over here, right? Very easy to create now. I can just go and choose my first color. I choose my first color like this, a lighter shade of the yellowish orange. I will go to the next one where the transparency is there. I will take the transparency back to 100% opacity and I will choose the second color. Perfect. Your radial gradient is ready. You can, however, change the source of the radial gradient like this. Lovely, right? So your gradient also changes, and if you reduce the distance between the source and the target or the two colors, you will have different types of gradient as per your wish. For our sake, we will keep the gradient source point or the first color at the center of the screen. Awesome. Again, I close this particular box to literally close this particular gradient. Now comes the last shape where we will try something else. So we will just create another slot. As usual, delete the lower part of the color. So the base color is gone and I only have a linear gradient at the top. So by default I will click on linear. I will go to the linear and I can take up anything what I require. I can just go for an angular gradient. Okay, I take two colors. Let's see what happens. I will check a very basic green. See the amazing metallic color that this particular gradient gives you. I will go to the second color. As usual, I will turn the opacity to 100% and take a darker shade of the same green. And here's our angular gradient that we have created seamlessly. Perfect. Another thing, however, I wanted to show you what is this small droplet of water tool that we can see over here. So basically it is a blend mode. These are the same type of blend modes that you can see in our Photoshop as well. Darken, multiply, color burn, lighten, screen, color dodge, overlay, soft light, hard light, and so on and so forth. What exactly it does? It is, let us see it. So let us create another tab over here and let us also check, and I bring it down in the lower part of the thing, and over here I will take, say, a solid color. Let's check, and I will take a, say, a reddish sort of tinge over here. Okay, great. I will go to this angular, and from here if I check different modes of color, see how your color of the triangle changes. So I can go from multiply. You can understand when you are multiplying a base red color with a green color, obviously the color changes to gray to darker black. We can also go for hard light. We can also go for overlays, which I have already shown, screen, and all this color tone we can actually check. Lovely. So we have also covered the blend mode. Let us now go to the next one. For that, let me again take a rectangle box, a smaller one, perfect. And by default I will change the color to a basic red or say a pinkish shade. Okay, now the first thing I can do is create a stroke. See, as soon as I click on the stroke, I have a 1 pixel basic black color stroke, which is 000000 color stroke that has come all around the shape. I will go over here and I can actually increase or decrease the line size. Lovely, right? So you have a stroke around. Okay, if I click on this plus, what happens? You can have different types of linear gradient stroke that, or a circular gradient stroke or radial gradient stroke over here. So you can experiment with that. I will not cover each and every part of the tool, okay, but you can always try out what is as per your design style. Okay, so great. So now the last part which I wanted to show you is the effects. As soon as I click on the effects, what happens? See, the basic drop shadow has already come over here. See, if you can see over here that I am just zooming the screen, you can see the drop shadow over here. Okay, you just need to now click on the effect setting. You can see this light burst sort of icon that is over there. You can click on that and you can actually edit your drop shadow. So say for example, now I say that let's do a 12 by 12 in the X and Y axis. What happens? It actually moves your shadow to a 12 pixel by 12 pixel from the origin point. We click on the burst again, and we can actually also, if I just drag my mouse pointer over the spread, I can actually control the spread of my shadow. Okay, and similarly if I drag around the blur, I can control the blur as well. So using this particular thing, you can do so many things with your design. So that's the easiest part of creating effects with Figma. You can also try, let me try this thing, but before that I will just delete the stroke over here so that you can see the effect. So I click on this drop shadow and I check the inner shadow. The inner shadow immediately takes the default shadow that I have already set, that is 12 pixel by 12 pixel, and creates an inner shadow over here. If we would have taken a different layer, then I could have also had the drop shadow as well as the inner shadow. Okay, similarly you can also click on this inner shadow and you can check the layer blur. What happens in the layer blur? Let's check this thing. I create a layer blur, and if you see like a Gaussian blur, the particular shape has already got a blur edge. Again, by clicking on this, you can actually adjust the blurriness of the layer. So that's pretty simple. And again, what you can do, you can also do a background blur. Let's see how background blur works. So currently you are seeing nothing over here. Let us now check another ellipse shape, and I create an overlap over here, and right click, and I would put it send backward. Okay, so now I click over here and I press background blur. Okay, also what I will do, I will reduce the opacity of this particular layer. Now see, amazing, right? So wherever these two particular image has overlapped, you see the area is totally blurred. So now you can do this thing with a lovely mix match of colors. Say for example, you take a yellow over here, you see that this particular area where these two colors are overlapping, you have a fantastic blur effect which looks more like a glass effect. I will cover glass morphism in a new video sometimes very soon. Watch that space. You will definitely know how you can create fantastic glass morphism, which is a rage in today's world in the UX UI fraternity. Okay, so see, wherever I am moving this top layer, the below layer, wherever it is interacting or is actually interfacing with the top shape, it is getting blurred. Okay, so this is a fantastic thing that you can use in your prototype. And you can also select the images like this, and you can also export them as PNGs. That is a fantastic thing that you can do. Also remember, which I do generally, I name each and every layer, because when you are doing a complex project and you are not naming any one of the layers, it might get extremely complicated when you are about to complete the project, and you will never know that where you have drawn a particular shape or color. So that's all, folks, for today's this particular episode. I will be back very soon with the grids and the guides, which is extremely important when you start a prototyping project. Till we meet again, goodbye and God bless, and please like, share and comment on this video, and do subscribe to the channel if you are new to this channel, because if you hit the bell icon, you will get all the notifications of our upcoming updates. Goodbye.